Hi, my name is Dan White, and I'm going to be presenting on an article that I found called Teaching Ambition Realized, Paul's Beginning Music Teacher Identity. And this article kind of is a combination of two articles in one. One talks about how to form identity and the process that goes through and a lot of psychology and how that is applied towards teaching. And the second half of the article deals with an individual named Paul, who is a first-year music educator who was once a student of the researcher of this article. I'll let you read the abstract while I kind of explain why I chose this article. It resonated with me after my previous article I did this week that was about developing self-identity. This article will work in tandem as a practical application of sorts to the previous review that I did this week in applying elements of self-identity and how you create self to the actual teaching experience itself. So using various methodologies, researchers have examined music teacher identity construction during secondary socialization or pre-service teacher preparation by looking at role identity, authentic context learning activities, and the influence of experiences and people on music teacher identity. Changes in identity, which frequently occur during pre-service preparation and the first few years of teaching, could be initiated by increasing pre-service teacher responsibility for planning, instruction, and interacting meaningfully with music education peers and mentors, including cooperating teachers. And while the literature on beginning music teachers and music teacher identity has grown, there's actually little that focuses on beginning music teacher identity. So let's start with the idea of teacher identity. Teachers are products of their personal histories and also have agency in choosing how to act as a teacher. And this is reminiscent to my previous presentation where I spoke about identity as storied, that we are a collection of parts of our history. So using socio-cultural approach to examine music teacher identity, we can describe this as a fluid, dynamic, evolving, situated, layered, and constructed individually, socially, and culturally. Using sociocultural framework also allows researchers to do more than capture pre-service and in-service music teachers' identities as snapshots frozen in time. Rather, they account for the changing nature of identities and the multiple internal and external forces that shape identity. So what we can do is we can become student focused. It is possible to become so focused on the pedagogy from what we learn in teacher prep programs that we do not fully embrace a student-focused approach that aligns with evolving beliefs that come from our experiences as teachers outside of the pre-service education that we receive in college. We can ask our students what interests them and then evolve and incorporate these ideas into what we are doing. A problem that Paul faced was he couldn't learn to be himself as a teacher. The new teacher Paul struggled to develop a teacher persona during his pre-service preparation that worked in tandem with his natural personality. Consequently, this carried over to his actual career when beginning to teach. And this is something I had to learn to adapt to very quickly. Otherwise, I was just not having fun when I taught. I felt like I was a stranger in front of the room. I had an ideal that was not me, and I had to learn to be myself. And I think that is fairly common among all of us that have been teachers. As are we ourselves when we teach, or do we become a new person in front of a class that is not ourselves? Another thing that Paul struggled with is our new teacher Paul did not seem to take ownership of his professional learning, teaching, and teacher identity when he began teaching. Paul just didn't feel like he was the teacher. He felt like he was just the substitute for another person's class or choir. He struggled with accepting the fact that he is now the adult in the room and that this class is his. I think we can all relate to this, especially in some form. The expression fake it to make it comes to mind. In my experience, I still get nervous and feel this way when I walk in a room with new students. However, it is getting less pronounced and goes away much faster than it used to. almost like a separate part of my brain now begins this reflexive instinct on what I should do and how I should say it, so that I don't have to think as hard about what I have to accomplish. Perhaps like a schema now has formed. So in summary about this article, in order to create our identity as teachers, work to do so may include goal setting, seeking feedback about one's identity, self-assessment with professional standards, and addressing identity tensions. I'd be curious to hear in the comments section some of the experiences that you've had, if they were similar to Paul's problems that he had during his first year of teaching. How did you relate to it, or did you not have that problem, and how did you not get these problems? Or if you did have these same problems, what did you do to overcome them? And maybe insight into other problems that were not brought up. Leave your comments in the comment section below, and I look forward to hearing your thoughts.